Hi everyone. So in the last video we created this function which can deliver us different kinds of gradients. So we'll be just passing two colors and we'll create a gradient. Okay. And in the last video we also created these different colors: primary, secondary, info, success, warning, and error. So I explained you all these things, and then we also have this gray color. Okay, we have different shades of it. Then for the mid shade we have different opacity. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to create some gradients, and for that I'm going to write const gradients is equal to, and then I'll create an object. Now here we are going to create one gradient for each of these colors: primary, secondary, info, success, warning, and error. Okay, so let's now create that. Here I'm going to write primary. Okay, and I'll just call that function create gradient. Then we have to pass two colors, color 1 and color 2. So the color 1 will be primary dot light. Okay, and then the color 2 will be primary dot main. So basically I'm just combining two colors from our primary color, okay, light and main, and that will give us a gradient. Okay, and we are calling it primary gradient. Similarly we are going to create gradient for other like info, success, warning, and error. So I'm just going to copy and paste those other four. Okay, so I'll just get it and paste it over here. So this is how we create gradient for each of the colors. Okay, I hope this is clear. Then after gradients are created, we are also going to include some charts in our application. And for that, we are again going to create this. For that, we are again going to create an object, okay, containing various colors. So here, what I'm going to do, I will be creating different colors like violet. Okay, so in case we have we need to use a violet color in our charts. Okay, we'll have different shades of it. Similarly we'll have different shades for blue color. Then for green, after green we'll have yellow and red. You can actually use other colors in place of violet, blue, green, yellow, and red, but these are going to look very nice, so we are going to use them. Okay, and for each of these colors, like for violet, we are going to get four different shades. Okay, so I have already selected the shades that I want to use in my charts. Okay, so I'm just going to again copy and paste that over here. You can define multiple. Okay, if you want, you can define even 10 colors. Okay, I'm just going to define these five, and for each of them I'll be having four different shades. So similarly for blue, green, yellow, and red, I have already selected my shades. So I'll just copy and paste that over here. So I hope this is clear why we are creating charts color, because we want to use them in our charts. Okay, and why are we actually defining these four different shades? Because if there is a chart and we have four different curves in it, then we are going to use these different shades to indicate different parameters. Okay, so that is why we are actually using these different shades for each of these colors. Then after we have created all these things, okay, gray palette and these five colors. Okay, then after that we have also defined gradient colors and chart colors. We are going to now combine all of these. Okay, and I'll call it common. So what I'll do, I'll write here const common, and again that will be an object. Here I'll write this property common. Okay, in which I'll define this black color, and the black color I'll want to use this pitch black, that is 000. And for the white I'll use again complete white color, that is FFF. Okay, then for the primary color, we have already defined our primary palette, but one thing is still missing. Let me tell you what it is. Okay, first of all we are going to actually destructure that object that we have created above this primary. Okay, that will give us these five different colors. Okay, so I'll first of all destructure primary like this. Then for each of the color we are going to define a contrast color. What I mean by contrast color is that, let's say you have red background. Okay, then on this red background, if you try to use, like, let's say some typography or text, okay, that is the same thing, and if you provide black color for that text, that means dark over dark, then the text will not be readable. Okay, so we have to define a contrast color that is going to look good, okay, on that background. So for this primary color I'll choose my contrast color to be white. So I have selected this FFF, that is white. Similarly for other colors, secondary, warning, info, and success, I have already done that. Okay, so I'm just again going to copy and paste that over here. I've explained how we are doing it. So you can see for the secondary color, we are having this contrast color, again white, for info white. For success, that is green. I don't want to use light color that is white over green, okay, because that is also white. So that is why I'm using this gray color of 800. That means a darker shade of gray. You can see over here, this is a darker shade of gray. And similarly for warning, which is again a yellow color, okay, so I'm again using this gray color. For error, which is red, we are using this white color. So I hope that is clear. Then after this, we can also specify our gray palette that we have created. So I'm just going to write it like this, okay. Then gradients, gradients will be gradients chart, and that will be chart colors like this. Okay, so what we have basically done till this point, we have created different palettes individually, then we are just combining them under one common object, which I am calling common. Okay, then after this, we also need to define a color for divider. What is actually divider? It is, if you have used HR tag in HTML, that is a straight line. It can be either vertical or horizontal. It is used to separate different sections. So that is known as divider. For that, we need to use a light gray color. Okay, so I'm going to here write gray. Okay, and then inside this gray, I'm going to actually use a shade that will be 524. That means shade 500 with 24% opacity. Okay, here, this one. Okay, so I'm actually going to correct it like this. Then after this, we are again going to define another object over here, and that will be called action. Now, what is meant by action? You will understand. Let's just write it over here. First one will be hover. Okay, so for hover state, we need to define a color. Okay, again, I'll be choosing a gray color. Okay, so gray and 500 with opacity 8%. Okay, so 500 with opacity 8%. That will be my hover color. Similarly, for other states like selected, disabled, okay, focus, we're going to define a color for each one of those states. So here we have different shades of gray, okay, and we also have these opacity values, okay. If the button or you say a link is hovered, then we want to set the opacity to 8%. For disabled, we want to set the opacity to 48%. So these are some values that we have already declared over here. Now, this will help us in keeping colors uniform all over our application. Okay, so this is how we have structured it. Now, there is one last thing that is remaining. We just want to define light and dark mode. Okay, colors, what color we should use in light mode and what we should use in dark mode. We need to separate that. So for that, I'll be creating another object over here, and that will be called palette. Okay, and by name, you must understand that this is a final object that will be used inside our theming. So here we are going to just define two properties. First one will be light and the second will be dark. And these different properties will contain a completely different set of colors. Okay, what will be common between them? This common colors that we defined. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to just destructure it over here. Then I'll set the mode to light, just like this. Okay, and then after this, in light mode, we want to set our text color. Okay, so for text, we are going to define three different colors. First one will be the primary color that will be taken automatically by the text everywhere, and I want to keep it gray color, so I'll use gray 800. Okay, that means gray color, darker shade of gray, this one 800. This will be used as our primary text color in light mode. Similarly, we are going to define another text color that will be secondary. Okay, and for secondary color, we are actually going to use a lighter version of gray. So that will be gray 600. Okay, and then there is also some cases in which we want to show some text in disabled mode. So for that, we are again going to declare this disabled property. Okay, and again we'll be using a shade of gray, and that will be again even lighter shade, that is 500. Okay, now after this, we also want to set the background color in light mode. Okay, so in light mode, what we want to use is our background color. It's obvious we want to use a white color, and there are actually again three properties that we'll be defining. The first one is paper, okay, and you'll understand why we are calling it paper later on when we will discuss a paper component in material UI. Then a default background color that is again going to be white, okay, like this. Then we have our last color that will be neutral color, okay, so neutral, and the neutral will be actually a very light shade of gray that is almost like white color but just a little bit darker than white, okay, so that is our neutral color, okay. Then the last thing we need to define under this light palette is action, okay. So in case of active, we are actually going to use gray with gray of 600, okay, and then the rest of the colors will be same as we defined in actions, okay. So I'll just write common dot action. So we are just overriding this active. All the other colors will be same, okay, in action, both in light and dark mode. Now we have created our light palette. Similarly, we want to create our dark palette. This time I'm just going to copy and paste it, then I'll explain it to you. Okay, so here I have copied it. Then this is our dark palette. Now you can see in dark palette, we are actually restructuring all the common colors that we have defined. And then the mode is dark. For the text, we want to use white color. Okay. And in this case, light, we used a darker shade of gray. So that is actually completely opposite. You can understand that. For the secondary, similarly, we have a lighter shade of gray. Okay. Then for disabled, we have a slightly darker shade of gray. Okay. For the background, we have a dark color. Similarly, for default and neutral. For action, again, we have active color, which is a dark color. You can say it is in between light and dark. Okay. Gray 500. So that is our palette. Now the last thing that we need to do in this file is just export this palette. So I'm just going to write export default palette. Okay. So that's it for this palette file. Okay. We just needed to define all these things. Now we have defined all the colors that we want to use in our application, and this is going to help us a lot to keep our application consistent all over the place. Then again inside this theme, I'm going to now create a breakpoints file. Okay. So I'll just write breakpoints.js. Now, what happens is there are multiple breakpoints. You already know that, like small, extra small, medium, large, extra large. These are all the screen sizes, okay? But there is already a default value that is defined for each one of them. What if we want to override these values? Like, let's say extra small starts from 100, and I want to say that in my application, extra small will be starting from 0. Then in that case, what we can do, we can actually create an object like this. Okay, here we just need to write values. Inside this, we can define key pair values. Okay, like this. Extra small, that will be from 0 pixel. Here the number that I'm writing, that will be in pixel. For a small, I want a small size to start from 600 pixel. For medium size, it I want it to start from 900. Okay, then for the large, I want it to start from 1200 and it will go above. Okay. Then for the extra large screen, I want to set breakpoint to 1536 pixels. Okay. So this is how we have defined breakpoints. Again, in order to use this in our theme, we need to export this first of all. So I'll just write export default breakpoints like this. Okay. So in this video, we have covered this palette. Okay, and we have also defined our breakpoints. Then in the next video, we are going to discuss everything you need to know about typography, that means text, because that is also one of the very important part of creating a theme. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you like the content, then please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also like this video, leave your comment, and I'll see you in the next video.